Hey, my name is Dr. Chelle. Welcome to the Dr. Test Prep YouTube channel. My channel is made for you. I want you to hit your dreams and do everything you want to do. And sometimes tests like the PSAT or the SAT can get in the way, which is the focus of this YouTube series. Now, 90% of my videos focus on the Desmos calculator. Right now, we are doing Khan Academy Unit 8, Lesson 6 on isolating quantities. You will most likely see these as multiple choice questions. However, I have decided for this particular lesson not to show you how to do things in the Desmos calculator because it can be a little bit complicated and it's more time consuming than just learning how to do it. So that's why I'm taking the time. I'm teaching you how to do it, the techniques that I use with my students, so that hopefully you can discover the pattern and save time. If you want to use the slider tool that I've shown you in many other videos, you can totally use that. If you have my book on Amazon, we're on page 153. If you don't, great. Paper and pencil works. Okay. The only reason why you need my book is to follow along and keep things organized. But if you're organized with paper and pencil, use that. The book's only $14.95 anyway. I mean, it's like less than a meal at a fast food restaurant. Okay. And Amazon gets like most of the money. Moving on, question number 4. Let me clarify. There are a lot of SAT books that are like $30, $40. My goal, like I'm a teacher, I'm not a company. I don't have employees to pay. I'm working at my desk in my bedroom. Okay. So my goal is to make things as affordable as possible. And my videos enhance what Khan Academy does. So that's why you'll hear me say when we're done with these to go back over to Khan and practice. So that's where it comes from. All right, now we'll move on. That was a little bit more digressing than you probably needed. Question number 4. The formula for slope is located below. Rewrite the formula to show y2 in terms of the x coordinates and slope. Okay, so basically what I tell my students is circle what we need. We need y2. But before that we can do anything, we really have to get rid of the fraction. So as I mentioned in the last video, when you were younger and you had to get rid of the denominator, you would just multiply by it. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to multiply this by the quantity x2 minus x1. And we're going to multiply the slope by the quantity x2 minus x1. When we do that, these cancel, and I'm left with m times x2 minus x1 equals y2 minus y1. And remember, for these type questions, and I don't think you're going to get more than 1, maybe 2, it's meant to be ugly. Okay. Now we just still have this x2, so we have to get rid of this minus y1. And the opposite of subtracting is adding. So we're going to add y1 to both sides. So my final answer is m times x2 minus x1 plus y1. And that's what y2 equals. So that was probably as complicated as you're going to see. But let's move on to question number 5. In question number 5, it says, solve for w in the equation, etc. So part of the reason why I suggest you learning the pattern is if you were to type this into Desmos, you would end up having 4 different variables and you would have to change the letter X so you could get the slider tool. So it still can work if it's a multiple choice question. It's just easier to work backwards. So I'm going to circle the 3W because I want W. So I have to get rid of everything else first. So the opposite of adding for you is subtracting for you. So I'm going to put minus for you here. The opposite of subtracting 2v is adding 2v. So I'll add 2v here. So now I'm left with 3w equals 5x minus 4u plus 2v. And then this is just like an old school 3x equals 6, divide both sides by 3. So we're just going to divide this by 3 to get w by itself, and then divide this whole thing by 3. So that is our final answer. All right. Torricelli's law describes the speed v of fluid. Rewrite the equation in terms of g, gravitational acceleration. That's a real thing. I looked it up to try to make it relevant because remember, 30% of your questions are going to be in context. All right, we are trying to get g. Now the thing is g is underneath the radical. So we have to do the opposite of taking the square root. So we're going to actually square both sides. And when we do that, we'll be left with v squared on this side. And by squaring it, it gets rid of the radical. So we'll be left with 2g and h on this side. Now, remember, we're trying to get the g by itself. So because all of that is being multiplied together, I'm going to divide this by 2, which means I have to divide this by 2. I'm going to divide this by h, which means I have to divide this by h. And that is the end of this problem. Now, like, subscribe, all that stuff. But before you go on to my next video, please go back to Khan Academy and do the examples or the practice problems from Unit 8, Lesson 6, just so that you can tell the AI if you've mastered it or you need more practice. The great news is when you come back, we're using the Desmos calculator again. We'll be doing solving quadratic equations. All right, I will see you soon. Goodbye, guys.